Hi, welcome back to Jacqueline Marie's Art. I wanted to talk about how the wrong sex can affect your destiny and how the right sex can affect your destiny. Okay, so is there such a thing as wrong sex? Yes. Any sex out of marriage is wrong sex. Okay, why is it wrong sex? It feels so good. We love each other. Well, it's wrong sex because it is damaging your emotional, or I should say, your spirit man. It is your spirit man will end up taking some form of beating eventually for this sex because sex out of marriage is not a true commitment, okay? These relationships usually do not last. It's very rare that they last until death do us part. Most of the time we go into these relationships and we bond and we break and we bond and we break and we bond and we break. Or even if it's a one night stand, okay, that meant nothing to me. He or she meant absolutely nothing to me. Well, to your spirit man, it meant something because it took a hit for that activity, whether you can see it or not. So usually the hit doesn't manifest right away. It manifests down the road when you get married, or because eventually, like I said in some previous videos, everyone eventually, not everyone, but most people, if not all, eventually will want to get married, even if it's around when they're 70. And by that time, so much damage will already be done that there will not be nothing left to really give their spouse except like an empty shell. Okay, so this damage could actually be done by age 25, even 30. So because if you start out having sex, like let's say around very young in your teens, right? And you carry that on till like 25, let's say 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's like 11 years. Is that 11 years? Something like that. Yeah. So imagine all that emotional trauma, added, compacted, and then dumped on into a marriage. So yeah, there is such a thing as wrong sex. I know it feels good in the moment. You're like, I love this person. We're gonna get married. And a lot of times when you shack up with somebody, you don't end up getting married. The casual or the out of wedlock sex destroys the situation, and you just end up probably just living together. Or if you do actually get married, the marriage just won't be as good as it's supposed to. I'm not saying this can't happen where it's great after, but usually the case is it's not as good after. So that's why it's wrong sex. It's not beneficial to your emotional state because you could show up looking awesome. You show up looking beautiful as ever or as handsome and sexy as ever, but you're damaged, the part of you that we cannot see, which is your spirit man. You have to realize you have that. You have a spirit and a soul. And this is the part of you that we cannot see with the naked eye. But so this is the part of you that gets damaged in these out of wedlock relationships. Because keep in mind, like I said, they don't last usually. And then we're on to someone else. And a lot of times when we break up, there is some hurt there, for both parts. Sometimes there is no hurt there or at all. You walk away unscathed, but eventually you will pick up some hurt. And sometimes, people carry this hurt for a long time. Sometimes some people are scarred so badly, emotionally, that they carry it for a long time. And everybody else that they get into a relationship with pays the price for that scar. Or if they get into a marriage, their husband or wife pays the price for that scar. Like, oh, I don't trust women, or I don't trust men. They can't be trusted. But you're in a relationship with vice versa, a man or a woman or whatever, but you don't trust them. And all that garbage that you are not responsible for will be dumped on your head. So yeah, that's wrong sex. And also, the more sex you start having out of wedlock, the longer it takes you to get married. Because if you're a man and you're getting your sexual needs met outside of wedlock, you're getting all your children out of wedlock, everything, you will not see the point after a while. You know, this behavior particularly is very prevalent in the black neighborhood. You will not after a while see the benefit of marriage. You will just see marriage as a waste of time. Why should I go tie myself down to one chick when I'm getting all this from so many others? But like I said, a lot of times you will get somebody pregnant, somebody or multiple people, and your son or daughter can pay the price. Your son will pay the price in that he can end up becoming a juvenile delinquent. What's a juvenile delinquent? Anybody drops out of school early, cut classes, end up going to jail, getting shot, dying before their time, coming down with mental illness, is a menace to society. Yeah, possibly don't have any respect for you or the mother. You know, just depends. So that's where it goes. If you're a woman, also, this is your kid too. You'll be with the kids by yourself. Most of the time, the relationships end. You're angry at the father. The term baby daddy is used. You're angry at the baby daddy. You could just put your fist through a glass. You know, you're walking down the streets, you're screaming at your kids, you know. And also, this is another problem. The kids face the punishment for the parent that is feeling the most hurt, or however, whatever parent the kids go with, which is usually the mother. The kids are going to end up suffering for this hurt that the mother is under, you know, from breaking with the father, because she probably didn't want to break with him, but they were not going to stay together anyway because they couldn't get along. And that stuff is not meant to work out because it's the wrong order of things. So she's going to be so bitter, so angry, so miserable, and she's going to take this out on the kids. How's it going to work? I don't know, lots of yelling and screaming, derogatory comments towards the child, you know, screaming at them, belittling them, telling them they're trash like their father. And what do you think will happen when this takes place? The kid will have their self-esteem snapped in half. They will grow up with low self-esteem. They will have no self-worth. Okay, when you have no self-worth, as a young man, you seek out gang affiliation. You're looking for a way of belonging because your mother made you feel like crap, because she was in so much pain because of her out of wedlock behavior that leads to all this pain, and your father were just not really there for you like he was supposed to be because he was busy with something else, and you just don't see the point, you know. So you seek out that love and whatever your mother and father were supposed to give you in a stable marriage with two biological parents. You seek it out in gangs, you seek it out on the streets, and this is your son, that is, you know. And a lot of times you look to get a rap career, which is a detrimental road to take, because if you look at the endless amount of young men that die that enter into that career, it is not a career for any young black man. I think it should be avoided. But these are the routes they keep taking based on this sort of family setup. All of this based on wrong sex, parents having wrong sex, you know, sex out of marriage. And as for your daughter, she will seek out, since her self-esteem is snapped in half because she has been verbally abused and made to feel like she's not worth anything, she will seek out, you know, her validation through men, possibly maybe older men or boys, or, you know, give up herself to them to feel accepted and loved. What this is just going to turn around and repeat the cycle and destroy her emotionally, because this is not beneficial behavior for anyone. They're just trying to feel accepted, so they turn to all the wrong things. So this is why it's important to not engage in wrong sex. It is not beneficial to you or your children, okay? So that detrimental behavior is to be avoided like the plague that it is. Okay, so how does the correct sex alter or affect your destiny? Well, we already know also, I want to touch on something else. Wrong sex could also cause you to lose the person that you wanted to marry. Wrong sex, you could end up sleeping with somebody, getting them pregnant. You know, you don't want to be with them, you're not with them anymore. But since you meet somebody that you finally like, They don't want you because you have kids. This could go either way for men or women, because you have to pay child support. They think all your money will be going to that household, or the guy probably don't want to deal with a woman with kids. So this is another way. This out of sex garbage could keep you from getting, from it could cause you to lose the person that you were meant to be with. It could cause you to lose the person that you want. You understand what I'm trying to say? It could delay your marriage. If you wanted to get married and you're fooling around, tampering with this foolishness, it can delay your marriage to even God knows when. All right, so let's touch on how the right sex affects one's life. Okay, so the right sex protects your mental state of mind. It does not disturb you mentally. It actually brings really good mental gratification and physical, because sex is a spiritual thing now. It affects your invisible spirit man. Okay, it's not a physical thing like they have you thinking it is. I mean, it is, but they have you thinking that's all that it is. Nothing could be further from the truth. It is highly spiritual in nature and have very disastrous side effects if constantly done out of wedlock. Okay? So, the right sex in marriage, waiting for the right time, which is God's time. So you will carve out a good life for you and your children, or you give them a better opportunity. It will also affect them mentally also. They will be in a stable home where they will get nurtured. They will see the example of marriage being modeled to them, and they too will grow up and want to be married. But this, I have to stress in every video, that this has to be a marriage with two parents that really love each other, and the man is the head of the household and is the provider. You pool your resources, of course, but you are the head. You are in charge. You are over everyone, okay? And a wife that respects you. And you guys have lots of sex, and you're a partnership, a team, okay? So it will protect you and your children's mental state. They will not become mental cases and a ward of the state, or juvenile delinquents of what can usually happen to people who were born out of wedlock, okay? They will grow up to respect going to school, value education. They're less likely to run off to gangs, get pregnant before their time, get someone pregnant before their time. Or, it could help you to meet the right person. When you come to the person, you won't have so much baggage that the person won't want to deal with you. You'll be in the good, correct standing that you need to be in, so that when you meet somebody that is good for you and you could potentially be good for them, you could be together because you're both not bringing a whole bunch of baggage. You won't bring a whole bunch of mental baggage. Oh, I hate women, they're trash, but I'm marrying this B anyway, and go put all that garbage on that person. Oh, I hate men, but I'm marrying this one anyway, and go put all that garbage on that man and make his life a living hell. Or go constantly cheat on this woman and give her heart palpitations. So you understand, and your kids will thank you for it. You understand? They will have both their parents, because it is so important to have two married biological parents in a house. I'm not saying it can't work with an extended, because sometimes that's just the case. It does work, but I'm just saying the better choice is this. Okay? If you could get it like that, do it like that. So that way you preserve your finances, you preserve your mental state, you preserve your children's mental state, you keep them out of prison, you keep them out of juvenile delinquency, you keep them out of mental illness, you keep yourself out of mental illness. You will have a better chance of attracting the right person. You have a better chance of not losing the person that you wanted. It won't derail. Having sex out of marriage could totally derail your future. It could bring in a whirlwind of bad luck. Your life could totally go off track. I'm not saying that people don't succeed who do this. Of course they do. But when people are endlessly years and years and years into this lifestyle, just constantly going on up until with a no end in sight, a lot of bad things can and do happen, and that trickles down to our children. So this is specifically for the Black community. So yes, it does. It can derail your life. It can mortgage off your whole future and cause you to lose everything. You could end up with mental illness, because sometimes we sleep with some people and we are never the same again. Sometimes after that, we're running the streets totally mad. So, you've lost everything, and nobody wants anything to do with mad people. No one, because it's just, you can't talk to the person is not there. Something else has taken over for them. So it's not, real. Nobody wants anything to do with that kind of baggage. So let's start practicing the right sex. Okay, let's start doing what's right for us. Let's start doing things that benefit us, our mental state, our children's mental state, and so forth. Okay, so that's all I have to say on this for now. Thank you for listening. At least, I'm trying to say this channel is not about bashing anyone, okay? No one at all. It's just about issues that I see men, women, and sometimes children have to face, and I just want to touch on them. Sometimes the ones for the Black community is a little more highlighted. All right, so thank you for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.